What's up? What's up? What's up? Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Walk It Off. We have a lot to get into today. I know a lot of people say that, but I got a little ahead of myself writing up everything for the show today. But we're going to talk about one quick thing before we get into the nuts and bolts of the LSU Oklahoma series. We're going to take a look at some LSU football, the pro days, some spring practice, some other news going around baseball right now concerning former Tigers. But I want to get started here because I feel like I'm turning into a broken record. And I really want this to be the last time, even though I have a bad feeling it won't be. The last time I got to address this type of behavior. You guys know me. By now, y'all know how I act. Y'all know how I am about baseball, how I am about the players, all that jazz. That's not going to change. Am I happy with the product on the field this weekend aside from Thursday? No. No. Pitching staff, yeah, we're going to get in some numbers there, but offense, no. Fielding, no. But I'm not going to bash the kids. I'm going to keep saying it. Whoever feels like they have the gall to attack these kids and to just berate them and talk down on them and tell them they should transfer. And it stems not just from the fans. Scrolling through X today, I did take kind of yesterday off. I kind of needed a mental reset after that weekend or that 3 day of baseball at series. I needed a mental reset, spent some time with the family, hung out with the kids, did some yard work. But so I get to work this morning. I pull up X and I'm looking through different articles, trying to research stuff, and even different publications just have pointed headlines towards one certain player. Now I expect that from fans. Well, bad fans. I expect that. You overreact, you get emotional. You tell your wife, "Oh, no, baseball doesn't ruin my day." That's not true. I see it on X. I would hope, and I get the world we live in today. Headline for this, click for that, watch this video, come pay for my article. I have a message board. I get it. I expect better from some of these people. The fans, though, y'all outdid yourself this time. You outdid yourself. Does nobody remember North Carolina? A guy that every single one of you, all the burner accounts, all the people who have their faces on X, every single one of you would go to the ballpark, and if Jake Brown walked up to you, you would be smiling in the ear, begging for an autograph, thankful for 10 to 20 seconds of his time. Now, I don't have to guess who told Jake to transfer after the North Carolina regional because you were telling Ruckert this weekend to transfer. You were telling that young man, yeah, okay, he made an error. Cool. You play eight or to 9 innings of baseball. That happened in the 8th inning. He didn't walk the bases loaded. I don't think he had an at bat at that point. I may be wrong. I could be wrong there. I admit when I'm wrong. I don't think he had an at bat yet. He was a defensive replacement. I'll give you this. Did I enjoy the call of him at being a defensive replacement? Not really. But I'm not going to question Jay Johnson. I'll say it over and over and over again. Jay Johnson has forgotten more baseball than all of our collective minds combined. Unless Krista Mooey's in the chat, then, hey, he knows more than I do. National championship pitcher. Get off the kid. Now, thankfully, I've talked to some people, and they've let me know, and I've seen screenshots of his kid's not going to let you tear him down. I'm hoping somebody like Jake Brown went to him and said, "Hey, kid, it's all right. I've been there." It was in a regional. I had to hear it for a whole offseason. When pro day comes, maybe they'll forget. Does any of you remember North Carolina? What would you do if you walked into public and saw Ruckert? Saw any of the guys you dog on, York. My wife saw York, Dardar, and Caraway today. She would have had no problem saying hi to them because she doesn't tear them down. And the guys on social media who think they can say what they want and just blast kids and think they don't see it, I promise you they see it. And I promise you they're not going to forget your face. And for the burners, look, I get the burner game. Okay. I get it. I don't have one. I don't have time. I have 2 young children. I have a job. I'm doing this. I don't have time. I don't have a burner. But there's an extent that y'all just go sometimes that I can't agree with. I know I said it's the road to 18, and I get it. Everybody's been giving me crap about the road to 18. I get it. I told you I didn't mean it had to be 18. The season's early. We're 6 games into a 30-game SEC schedule. Can the Tigers pull it out? Can they finally begin to play complimentary baseball? That's what we need to find out. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. But it's not over. It's nowhere near over. You got 8 more weekends of this. And if you're going to quit on this team now, go ahead. I promise you, I'm going to still be there wherever I am. If I have to put the radio broadcast on my phone and listen to it, I'm going to. And then Monday and Thursday or whatever days I go live on here on talk about this on the show, or I do a watch along like we did Saturday, which thank you for everybody who joined me for the watch along. We had a chance to win some prizes. Didn't work out for us. Shout out to Cody for winning the Jake Brown ball. Everything's gonna be in the mail here shortly, I promise you. Everybody who wants something's gonna be in the mail here shortly. But I'm gonna be here. You can call me a sunshine pumper. Somebody called me a bandwagon fan this weekend. Crazy. Just do me one favor. If you don't do anything, if you don't like, if you don't follow, if you don't subscribe, whatever. Before you write something on social media, picture that kid standing in front of you in public. Would you say the same thing to his face? I bet you wouldn't. All right. Let's get on with the show right here. Right after we get done with these quick ad break, we're going to talk about the series real quick, talk about some numbers I dug up. I was going to dig up a lot of the numbers, but they made me depressed bringing them up, so I didn't want to depress everyone else. But right after we get back from this quick little short break, we'll get into it. Stay with me. In South Louisiana, there's nothing we love more than God, family, sports, and food. For your next get-together, make sure you contact Lemise Sourdough Bakery. Whether you're gathering with friends and family for the big game or surrounding yourself with loved ones for a Sunday dinner, let Lemise Sourdough Bakery provide what you need to make it that much more special. Lemise Sourdough Bakery is a small batch, all organic bakery right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Go take a look at what's being mixed up in the kitchen next, as well as place your orders on Instagram at Lemise Sourdough Bakery. Don't forget to pick up your regular sourdough loaves, your jalapeno cheddar loaves, cookies for those late night snacks, and cinnamon rolls for those early morning cravings. Lemise Sourdough Bakery, where the first ingredient in anything made is love. Lemise Sourdough Bakery. All right, we're back. Shout out to Lemise. Make sure y'all check it out. If y'all haven't seen the photo of the Lemise sourdough cookies in the press box, the Alec box, they're a hit. I may have known a friend that sits in the press box every day, and my sponsor was able to give him some cookies. One more quick thing before we start getting into the meat of the show. Right here. All right. Camera's too far away. Gage Jump. Yes, Gage Jump signed baseball card. That's the prize for tomorrow. Also, real quick. I told y'all I'm getting ready for football season. This one is I believe this one is the 2016 team. You remember who was on the 2016 team? I do. Pick that up later. We're going to have some cool prizes even going into football season. That's my plan. We're not going to, this ain't going to stop. But let's get to the chat real quick. Let's say hi to everybody. David Billiot's in the chat. Hit the button. What are you waiting for? That's right. Hitting the like on the stream. It's free. Don't do anything for me. Just helps me out a little bit. Just a little bit. Hit the like on the stream. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Especially if you want to win prizes on Pick to Click. You don't want to miss that. Robbie Plaisance. How you doing, Padna? How you doing? Babbing on the Bayou. I hope y'all checked out his show earlier today. Well, just right before mine with AP, and they had a big deep dive into spring football and what's coming up next. Tiger Joker. Now, I addressed this in the comments. Bottle, maybe put your name out there. I know you, Joker. I know you. One more quick thing. Lamy is the favorite bakery of Alec Box Press Box. Look, I shouldn't have a sponsor. I get it. I've been doing this for 30 seconds. But those sourdough cookies are fire, y'all. Like, I ain't fat for no reason. I know what good food is. Don't get me started. All right. Let's talk about this weekend series real quick. LSU, Oklahoma. We all know how Casey Evans did Thursday. We don't need to rehash that. Honestly, if it wasn't for Casey Evans having the game he had Thursday night, you probably don't win that game. We're going to get into that. Let's talk about the offense first. I think that's the biggest problem right now, aside from defense that everybody wants to harp on. Let's talk about the offense. I think it's funny. You look at Vanderbilt, you put up double-digit runs, I believe, in 2 of the games. If not, Friday and Sunday. But the pitching failed you. This week, I saw a stat earlier. Last week, your pitching staff held opponents to a 2.00 ERA. I believe the opponents hit under 200 for the week. Pitching staff came in clutch. Let's talk about how the offense did this weekend on Thursday. I broke down some numbers with hits and runs. So Thursday is the only day you out-hit Oklahoma. You won that game. You doubled them on hits. You had 8 hits to their 4. You had 2 doubles, 8 walks, 7 Ks, and you had 10 left on base. 10. We're going to get into that later. I know I asked that question earlier about what's more, runs scored or people left on base. Oh, boy. Friday. Let's get into Friday. Friday. So, you had 7 hits there, 8. You struck out 13 times, and you left 7 on base. And really, the only offense you had was the 1 home run. That's not going to do it in SEC play, guys. Now, granted, LJ Mercurius, I was going to say Xander. That's his little brother. Jay calls Xander Mercurius from Oklahoma. We need him next year. LJ Mercurius came out, and he did a fine job. He did a real fine job. I think we didn't chase him off to the 6th or 7th inning, and he held you in check. The other team does have a say in it, but let's talk about this other thing real quick. Saturday, he had 2 home runs. What up, Stanny? 6 walks, 5 Ks, 4 left on base. So you had a better, somewhat offensive day. Granted, you didn't win the game. In Jay's press conference, he talked about the goals of the team on Sunday. And what the goals of his team was, can they get 3 quality at-bats strung together in a row? And their goal for a game is to have 4 blocks of 3 quality at-bats. And I think they had 1 block of 3 quality at-bats in a row. With Jay's offensive scheme and offensive mindset, that's not going to win you games. We can only string together 3 solid blocks of quality at bats. and it's like we talked about this before, it's a double-edged sword of do you watch more pitches? Do you attack first pitch? I think they're jumping the shark on a lot of things. They may need to just kind of step back and simplify things a little bit. It's man, let's see what the comments because I want to hear y'all's opinions on the offense so far because I know for me it's a very touchy subject. I'm not really it's the numbers I ran today. I tried to find the silver lining in it, but guys, I'll be honest with you. I'm not seeing sunshines and rainbows around this baseball team right now. The offense is sputtering. You have honestly two guys in your lineup consistently hitting. One of them's carrying his team on his back, and guys, could he keep up the rhythm and the play he's had all year? It's possible, but we haven't seen him do it. I'm talking about Jake Brown. You realize this is the first year Jake Brown's been a full-time starter. And these are the kind of numbers he's throwing up. He can do it all, but he can't do everything. Derek Curiel is behind him. He's also, I think he's one of, let me check my notes real quick. One of two players hitting over 300 right now. Yeah. You only have two guys in your lineup hitting over 300. Derek Curiel and Jake Brown. I don't know what Jay needs to do, guys. Everybody wanted Eddie Yama in the lineup. Granted, he had a walk and a strikeout. Yeah, the walks, I mean, like Zach Nunez always loves, he gets on base. I get it. I said earlier this week, we don't need productive at-bats anymore. We need competitive at-bats. I think I said this to the chat on Saturday during the live stream. I'll say it to you here. Oklahoma's not a better team than you. Now, they won the games. They won the series. When it comes to the scoreboard, they're better. They're not a better team than you. That's all they're doing. Can you tell me a different way? Can you tell me they're not shooting themselves in the foot right now? I'm trying to figure out just how to, because I'm not Jay Johnson, but if you go listen to Go Deep Dive, they're going to talk about pitching a lot more. They're going to talk about the whole game, but I really trust David's look when he, like, especially David Billiard's look when he looks at the mound and he kind of breaks down a pitcher. I really do trust it. Guys, this offense is scary, man. This offense is scary. I really wish I knew what these guys could do. More cage time's not going to help. More cage time's not going to help. Time off, not going to help. Jay's got his work cut out for him. We thought 2024 is his best year of coaching. If he can turn this team around, you're 2-4 in SEC play. So realistically, what do you need? To have the elephant hair on the hair on an elephant's butt chance to get into the postseason, you need 11 more wins over the next 8 weeks. It means you need to win a series. Can this team win a series right now? South Carolina fought with Arkansas Sunday once Paul Maneri was gone. So they're a talented bunch. It's a long, long SEC season. But I was talking to Dave before I jumped on here. It's just getting harder and harder to see the sunshine at the end of the tunnel. I'll be honest with you. I just don't I don't want to be doom and gloom. Let's get into a little bit more of the numbers. Defensively, LSU had 5 errors on this series. They had one. So it's funny. All these numbers kind of point to who won the game, of course. Thursday, you had 1 error. I was trying to remember what that error was, but I couldn't. It's okay. Friday you had 2, Saturday you had 2, and you lost both those games. Guess who didn't have an error Friday and Saturday? Oklahoma. They had 3 Thursday, but none Friday and Saturday. They turned a lot of double plays. A lot of double plays. It'd be really nice if we could have that come our way. Look, right now, let's look as a total for on the weekend. You batted 213 and you struck out 25 times. You struck out 25 times in 89 plate appearances. You're striking out at a higher rate than a quarter of the time. You had 18 walks. So let's do the quick math real quick. 43, 89, so 46 plate appearances where you didn't walk and you didn't strike out, and you batted 213. Is anybody else surprised about how much this team is striking out this year? Like, I know we complained about strikeouts in the past, especially in 24. We complained about strikeouts last year in 25. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Let's see what y'all talking about in the chat with the offense. Oh, let's see. Joker. More left on base and runs scored, as you mentioned on X, 207 to 204. That's right. Let's go look at that real quick. Let's go look at some of those notes. Let me hit David Billiot here. Did y'all realize that LSU outscored OU over the course of the 3-game series and still lost it? I noticed that. I didn't want to think about it. Robbie Plaisance, you need to ask David to ask Coach Jay about getting him in the portal when it opens. You talking about Xander McCurris? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Robbie says he'd like to see the offense play more small ball, not try to hit a home run every pitch and get back to the basics. Let's touch on that real quick. So I'll be completely honest. It like gives me heart palpitations when I hear people say they're swinging for the fence. They just swing harder than you did in high school. Tommy White cut down his swing by widening his stance and shortening his stride. That's really all he did, and choke him on the bat. He didn't swing out hard, change how hard he swung. They're not hitting the ball well. And Jay said himself, Jay was asked about the offensive approach over the past weekend, and he said it's just bad contact. Now, I do believe Jay at times is protecting his guys to a point, but I think he's past that. He calls it bad contact. Well, what's that mean? Topping balls, getting under balls, not squaring them up, beating them in the dirt, or just under them and leaving fly balls in the outfield or popping them up. Again, another weekend of turning average outfielders into gold glovers. I don't get it. That kid who made the play on the left field wall with Brown in the third game, what's in the grass? Can someone please tell me what's in the grass? Babin, they're going to stop pitching to Brown because nobody else on the offense is consistent. You're right. Would you pitch to Brown? I wouldn't pitch to him. Who in their right mind would give Brown a pitch to hit whatsoever? You want to talk about swinging for the fence, and Brown's last at bat Sunday? Yeah, he was trying to get into one. Why? He knows he's the only spark on the team. He was trying to tie the game to just extend the game and have a chance to win. I would love to see more small ball. Matter of fact, I saw a video today out of Tulane where they small balled the hell out of somebody. Basically 5 bunts in 1 inning, scoring 3 runs. I know certain people hate bunting. I know it's not fun. It's not the double in the gap. It's not a home run. I don't care as long as you're scoring runs. Baseball is about how many times you cross the plate coming from third base and score a run. It's not about how far you hit the ball. AP, what's up, my guy? Make sure you go check out AP and Babin's podcast earlier today. And AP's putting out a lot of content right now around the Saints and LSU football. You don't want to miss that. Dominant LSU, we need our offense to be more consistent. Yeah, that we do. Alexandra, my girl. Hey, great show. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate it. Error Thursday was the first inning strikeout. Okay. All right. I didn't know if they gave BD error on that. Sometimes with the scorekeepers, they don't do that. But catching. Do you want to hear an argument why Omar Cerna should be the starting catcher? I have one. We're going to get into that in a little bit. Let's get back to my notes. What I wanted to do earlier today when I was looking at everything, I was trying to figure out what's going on with this team. And I know you hear me talk about it. You hear David talk about it. You hear Zach talk about it. You hear Babin talk about it. Probably every other person who talks into a microphone about this baseball team talks about it. What has happened since the first 8 games of the year? That's what I think is the most frustrating thing. We've seen the potential of this team in the first 8 games of the year. You had people booking Airbnbs in Omaha. I don't know what caused this offense to just take a rut. Oh, it didn't happen to Jake Brown or Derek Curiel. Now, Derek Curiel started off slow, but he's picked it up. So what's happened? And we're going to talk about some numbers on the year right now and compare them to the first 8 games in the year. I hope y'all are ready. Because, they're not good. Like I said earlier, as a team, you've left 207 men on base while scoring 204 runs. Now, I never really liked the left on base stat just because if you're hitting the ball well, you got to leave more people on base. And I argued that for the first 8 games of the year. You're leaving more people on base because you're hitting the ball well, but you're still driving guys in. You're going to leave them on base. That argument has changed. We are anemic with the bases loaded. Anemic. We're almost to a corpse. We're almost not flowing blood anymore when we have runners on base. I don't understand it. I wish I did, but I don't. What? I'm not even getting into that. As a team on the year, you're almost at a 25% strikeout clip. You look at it as a batting average, 231 average striking out as a team. Like I said, we don't need more productive at-bats. We need more competitive at-bats. And right now, like, I'm going to pick on Omar Cerna right now just because he's the one that popped in my head. Most recent example. Right now, the way you're playing, you are not allowed to turn around and talk to the umpire on a call. Stop doing it. Say yes, sir, and walk off. Let Jay or Wanaka or Simpson fight that battle for you if they want to. Y'all are not able to open your mouth to an umpire. If you're winning, maybe you have a little leeway. That's why Jay got into Zach York a couple weeks. What was that? A week ago, guys. I'm not gonna go there. I gotta be nice. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice. And as on the year of the team, you're hitting 277. All right. 204 runs on 225 hits as a team, batting 277. That number would tell you, hey, if they hit the ball, they score runs. Well, we'll have to look at those numbers, how skewed they are from the first 8 games of the year. And quickly in the chat, anybody want to give me an idea of what, David, you cannot answer this because I told you this earlier. Anybody want to give me an idea what they're batting as a team for the first 8 games of the year? I'm going to come look in the chat real quick to see if anybody said anything. And while y'all think about that. Domino shoot, if they stop pitching into Brown, or even if Brown stops playing consistently, I don't know what else we can do. Right now, nothing. Curriel will come up. He'll get you some at-bats. You'll be later on when I talk about who's leading the team in batting average right now, y'all going to be – some of people here are going to be surprised to see some names. I know I was. One of the names was mind-boggling to me, but that's just showing you how bad you are as a team at hitting right now. Let me get back to this real quick. In the first 8 games, we were great, but after getting back from Jacksonville, Florida, it is like a switch flip. We haven't been the same. No. You beat UCF into a pulp, and all of a sudden, you lost it. Robbie plays on calling 425. Let me go to Babin. The real problem is the team doesn't make winning plays when the margins are so thin. The SEC, OU, and Vandy made winning plays, which LSU doesn't. You can't argue that. You'll have moments. Curriel making a diving catch in right center. Milam, anytime there's a ball near the shortstop area or on the left side of the field or up the middle. Yeah, Milam will make plays. York will make plays at first, flashing the leather. A couple weeks ago, nobody could run on us. Now we can't catch the ball to throw anybody out at second. Good. All right. Robbie, you're calling 425 as a team in the first 8 games. Alexandra, you have 368. Well, Alexandra, you must have went to Google, sweetheart. The first 8 games of the year, you were batting 367 as a team. You had 101 base hits and 275 at-bats. You had a K rate of 18% and 275 at-bats. You had 49 Ks. 18%. And that gap was wider as well with scoring and leaving guys on base. We complained so much in those 8 games about leaving runners on base. They left 72 on base in 8 games. Let's talk about that. They've left so far this year. Let me go back and check my notes. $207 on base. You've left 130 on base in the last, I think we're 16 and 9 now. So you're 8, yeah. You're 8 and 9. So since you were 8-0, you're 8 and 9, and you've left 100, almost double the left on base total. But you're not scoring them. So the guys are getting on base, they're just not scoring. You also walked more. You had 56 walks, which they get on base. Can't score if you don't get on base. You're 8 and 9 since you started 8-0. You have lost more than you've won. I know I want to come on here all the time and pump up the team. Talk about, no, things are good. They're fine. They'll figure it out. Right now, guys, I don't know. Everything I know about baseball, and I'm not a baseball expert by any stretch of imagination, but I firmly believe I know more baseball than the average person. I study it more. I don't miss a pitch. I don't know what you can do to fix this. I know Jay talked about bringing Patrick into the infield. I don't know how that fixes it. If you were here Saturday, I gave you my lineup I would do, and I would pick a lineup and stick with it. And now you have Cooper Moore's injury. Yeah. Batting average. Now I'm gonna talk about some notable mention guys real quick, because a lot of guys y'all might say in the chat who are leading the team in batting average, you'll be right. The only problem is they haven't had as many at bats to really qualify to lead the team in batting average. And those guys are Chris Stanfield, Braden Simpson, and John Pearson. Chris Stanfield has been back and hasn't missed a beat. He's batting 294. For everybody who was worried about him hitting SEC pitching, I mean, I hope he hits 3 home runs now. We're going to need him. The swing looked good Sunday. Braden Simpson hasn't seen the field in a couple of days or over a week. I don't know why. I know he was worried about strikeouts, but he was still batting 292. Would he be batting in the 220s right now if he was on the field? Maybe, maybe not, but I think Simpson needs to get some more ABs. And John Pearson should be in the lineup. Now, the lineup I put out did not have Pearson in the lineup. I get it. That can always change. And for everybody who wasn't here, I'll give you my lineup. It's simple. Cerna behind the plate, York at first, Dardar second. I would put Simpson at third. He's a third baseman at High Point. He was a great third baseman. This is how good of a third baseman he was. They say he'd be a top 50 second baseman. Milam at short, outfield, don't touch it. DH Pearson. Got a lot of lefties in the lineup anyway. You need some more righties. DH Pearson. Now, if y'all want to in the chat, give me the 3 players that are in the top 5 of batting average right now for this team, if you want to, that are not Jake Brown and Derek Curiel, because we all know those are the top 2. Jake Brown's hitting 381. Derek Curiel's batting 323. And that's, you don't need another 3. No one's hitting in the 3s anymore. Let me go to the comments to calm down. All right. You're right, Joker. Now it's batting 277. Yeah, they dropped almost 100 points, guys. Now I get it. People are going to say, well, first 8 games isn't a big enough sample size. I think it is. Compared to how you've played since then, I think it is. 100 points, man, in 17 games is depressing. Alexandra, negative on the Google dad, and I was just talking about this, so credit goes to my dad. Well, Alexandra, I don't know your last name, but credit to Alexandra's dad. You raised a good Tiger fan. Diamond LSU. What do you think of Jay's decision to leave Gavin Guidry in for what I thought was too long in the series finale on Saturday? We're going to get to that. We're going to get into that deeply here in a little bit when we talk about the pitching. I said this on the stream when we were watching it. My first thought was, after the Moore injury, you're getting a look into who Jay may put as the weekend starter. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit, but good question. Good question, Diamond LSU. Babin on the Bayou. I have some good friends who went to La Tech and they feel good about tomorrow night. They're talking it up. They should. I would tell you right now, Babin, they should. Now, Joker. So I expect Diamond to look up the stats. You're cheating. I know you're cheating. All right. Joker had it right. Cerna, York, Beatty. Yeah. Cerna's batting 280. York's batting 263. The name that surprised me was Beatty. That's the name that surprised me. Because I'll be honest, guys. I love all the kids. I love them all. If I was coach for a day, Beatty would not be in my lineup. Well, Paul, Cerna's dropping the ball and making the same plays as Beatty. He's a freshman. And he's driving the ball right now. He's seeing it. Beatty be my starter. Not Beatty. Cerna would be my starter. And the crap on York, he's still hitting 263 with the pop-ups and with the strikeouts. Now, I think it was a good idea to give York the day off Sunday. I do. Did Cerna make a mistake once or twice? Yeah, he did, but that kid was the top catcher in Texas. I promise you, he didn't carry a first baseman's mitt. I think David and Zach talked about it on their show. They probably had Marucci make him that mitt the night before. It may not even been broken in yet. So, but Brown, Curiel, Cerna, York, Beatty. home run leader, the guy who led you on base percentage last year, Omar Cerno, freshman, Zach York, who can mash the ball. And once he finally finds it, guys, oh my goodness, get seats in the right field, in the diamond deck in right field. Am I still saying he's going to hit 20? No. They'd have to go to Omaha to like the semifinal game to get close to that. Brown may hit 20 if he get pitched to. You know how you get pitched to? If your other guys are hitting. I didn't mean for this to be my like venting show. I wanted it to be fun and light and joke around, but I keep seeing these numbers and they drive me nuts. Absolutely drive me nuts. I know you do your research, you little punk. You punk. La Tech going in with all the confidence in the world, as they should. When I talk about La Tech later, it's tomorrow night's not going to be a 7-inning game, guys. I hope you get your rest tonight to stay up and watch the game. Let's get into pitching about the Oklahoma series. Now, we're not going to go over the Casey Evans mastery he had Thursday. It was beautiful. Without Casey, you don't win that game. I'm sorry. Cam Johnson could have walked in 5 or 6 runs. Without Casey Evans throwing that well or pitching that well, I apologize. You don't win that game. Now, Friday, Cooper Moore, before he exited in the 5th, he had given up 2 runs on 4 hits and 4 Ks. He didn't walk anybody. Was it Cooper Moore's best stuff? It wasn't his best, but it was serviceable and it kept you in the game. His injury scares me, y'all. It scares me. We're going to get to that in a minute. After Moore exited the game in the 5th, it took Cooper Williams and Maverick Rizzi to come in, platoon the 5th to get out of that. Again, 2 guys who I had a lot of high hopes for coming into the season. I know David Billiot saw Cooper Williams as a dark horse to hit the starting rotation. I had Maverick Rizzi starting on Saturday. 2 guys we were very high on. They will figure it out, but they haven't figured it out yet. Cooper Williams is coming back around, though. Maverick Rizzi's hitting bulls like in Bull Durham. After that, Grant Fondo came in. He had his best outing as a Tiger whatsoever. Round of applause for Grant Fondo. I love to see it, kid. It looked good. Fastball was live. Changeup and breaking ball worked well. He pitched an inning at 3rd. He didn't give up any hits. He struck out 2. He did walk 1, but no hits for an inning at 3rd. Kept you in the game. And Santiago Garcia would come in and finish the game with 2 2/3, giving up 2 hits and a run. He did give up a run, but didn't walk anybody. He struck out 3 2 2/3. He gave you a chance to win. Offense couldn't do anything. Now, they did bring in their top bullpen arms on Saturday. That's kind of why I talked about it last week. I kind of see the SEC kind of turning towards a Saturday ace kind of rotation because you got to win at least one in a series, really. If you don't get that Friday game, it kind of turns into like a real pressure situation where you got to win Saturday. But that's not a conversation for today. Saturday. William Schmidt, he had a really good outing. He only went 4 innings this time, but and it you know, and the only run he would give up was that home run in the 1st. Was it Schmidt's best outing? No. Did he have flashes of his best stuff? Yeah. It just, he's a sophomore, first year as a full-time starter on a weekend rotation. He doesn't have the same experience as, say, like Casey Evans had from last year. I have all the faith in the world that William Schmidt's going to figure it out and be money. Is William Schmidt going to be a Saturday guy now? It's quite possible. He would let's see. After Schmidt would come in, we're about to get into what Dominic LSU brought up. Gavin Guidry would enter in the 5th. He would pitch for 3 1/3. In that 3 1/3, he would have the final 3 runs scored by Oklahoma. 2 of them were earned, tallied to him. 4 walks, striking out 6. Did Jay leave Guidry in for too long? Let's talk about that. My firm belief was Saturday, watching Guidry go in there, my threshold, in my opinion, of a starting pitcher is 75 pitches. Can you keep your stuff? Can you be consistent fill up the strike zone, and keep your breaking ball and your changeup for 75 pitches. That's my barometer or my gauge. 75 pitches could usually get you through 4 to 5 innings. Because if you have a 15 pitch inning kind of average. I think Jay was trying to really leave him out there to see if he could fill that role. Jay himself said he didn't say he left him in there for too long. They asked him why he left him in there, bringing him back out for the 8th. And he said, well, because I saw 3 zeros on the board. All of his runs got charged him in the 8th. And he said, I saw 3 zeros on the board. He talked about the breaking ball working well in the shadows in that time of the day in the stadium with the breaking ball going up to down, fluent hitters. Yeah. I mean, if you ask me, would I have left Guidry in there for the 8th? During watching it, no. But I'm also not trying to figure out who's going to be my next weekend starter with an injury to my starting pitcher. In the chat, while we're discussing this, tell me who you want to see as the third starter for the weekend, if you don't mind. So I can kind of look at that and see what the general populace is thinking. Devin Sheeran would come in and finish the game with an inning and 2/3. He didn't give up any hits, struck out 2, but walked 2 as well. My one thing with Sheeran, I love Sheeran. I love that kid. I love his passion. I love his fire. I love his energy. That's a fine line to me, though. You look at a guy like Brian Wilson, you look at different guys that have come in, like Pedro Martinez, for example, was a great fiery guy, but he kept everything contained. I think Devin needed a mound visit. And I said on the stream, I kept saying, Jay or Nate, go out there and talk to him for a minute. Settle him down. Because he's not feeling only what he's seeing in front of him at the plate. He's feeling everything behind him. So when Ruckert does boot that ball and Cerna doesn't stretch on that throw, because if Cerna stretches on that throw, you get the out at first. FYI. Anything that happens behind him or he's up there, he's reacting to it all. Sheeran's a great pitcher. I love him to death. He can't let every moment get to him on the mound. He has to stay focused and kind of, I call it getting tunneled. You have to get tunneled. You worry about what's happening behind you while it's happening. Once it's done, you're done. Clear the mechanism like Kevin Costner for love of the game. Focus on the mitt. That's what you got to do. You can keep the passion, but don't let that get you outside yourself. I wish they would have went out and gave him a mound visit and talked to him, but it is what it is. Can't have everything you'd like to have. Now, as far as Sunday goes, decisions on the mound, decisions with the pitching affected the outcome of the series. No matter what the pitching staff did this weekend amongst anybody, including Maverick Rizzi and Cooper Williams, you can't place any of the losses on the pitching. As a staff for the week, they held their opponents to a 2 ERA. They allowed 8 runs, 15 walks in 4 games, struck out 56 in 36 innings. Now, granted, Kason Evans carried a lot of that load. He did. The pitching staff was phenomenal this week. Going back to Grambling, it's your offense that struggled. What does Jay do to fix it? What can he do to fix it? Do you need to just shake up the whole lineup? I have a feeling if you walk out there, you see Patrick on the infield, and say you see Ethan Kloss at second, Cerna at first, Beatty catching, Pearson at third. How would the fans react to that? Would they call it throwing in the towel? Tomorrow night's going to tell us a lot about what Jay's approach the next weekend is against Kentucky, who is a damn good team. It's going to tell us a lot. All right, Cooper Moore injury. Let's go to some comments real quick. All right. Joker, yeah. Earlier you said pitcher was good enough to win a series. Yeah. You can't really say any better than that. Robbie Plaisance. I think Moore's injury is worse than what the leading on like injury last year. Look. Friday night, when I saw Moore walk into the dugout holding back tears, I went, he's done for the year. Jake and Trujillo come out and say it's his sore tricep. Okay. My worry is the tricep's really close to the elbow. A lot closer to the elbow than the shoulder is. Hopefully it's just the sore tricep. I hope so. And then I started breaking things down like, okay, how does this flex? Why would I spike it? If it's the shoulder, if it's the elbow. Anyways, I don't need to get into all of that. Missed my place. All right. Missed my place. Okay. Babin wants Cowan to replace Moore while he's out. Cody Enlow, what's up, baby? Just got off of work. There we go. Domino shoot. Don't want to be negative. Between Cooper Moore's injury and the bats need to be consistent. I don't see a postseason team for this year. Look, I don't want to be negative either. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't care. Now, RPI is going to matter when it comes to seeding. I get it. I'm not worried about seeding. At this point, be prepared to have to travel for if you do get into the postseason. Don't be prepared to host at the box. No matter how hard we want to have them host, you'd have to have a lot of dominoes fall to host at the box this year. At this moment, can it happen? Yes. This team could turn it around. I have all the faith in the world in Jay Johnson. I truly do. Ole Miss was in a worse spot than we were when they won the College World Series a few years ago. Don't forget that. We all think we have a better coach than Mike Bianco, even though how much we love Mike Bianco. But as of right now, prepare ourselves for traveling or watching baseball in the postseason with the Tigers on the road. Unless they somehow pull it out and say get to 15 wins in the SEC and then make a run in the SEC tournament. This year, the SEC tournament matters. Get ready for it. Cody wants to see Cowan. I'm starting to see like everyone in the chat saying Cowan. Do I like Cerna at first base? Not over York. I like York's defense. I'd rather see Cerna behind the plate. Personally. I like York's defense, and I believe in the bat to come around. I believe in the bat. Stanley was day-to-day and missed a month. Yeah, he was. He 100% was. This is so how I look at filling Cooper Moore's role. It's pretty simple. I look at who in the bullpen has been consistent, who's been in the circle of trust, as we call it, and who has starting experience. Well, the only two guys in the bullpen who have starting experience is Zach Cowan and Jaden Newt. So, and I haven't talked about Jaden Newt until today when I kind of sat down and thought about it. I was like, okay, he had a rough start against Kent State. I get it, but he's come out and he's looked good in other appearances, and we didn't even see Jaden Newt this weekend, actually. Could have been a reason for that. Zach Cowan and Jaden Newt. If you make me pick, I go Zach Cowan. I think he's a good what's the word for it? He's a good opposite. I can't think of the stupid term. He's a good opposite to what you have with Kaysen and Schmidt. With Kaysen and Schmidt, you have hard fastballs, sharp breaking stuff. You go Friday, Saturday, and then on Sunday, you go Cowan. That's if Moore's going to be out for more than 3 weeks. Why I say that? If Jay and Isaac Trujillo truly believe that Cooper Moore will be out 2 to maybe 3 weeks. I would almost say if you want to bring Moore back and keep him in that second day role, you want to keep Schmidt on that third day role so you don't mess with because baseball players are very detail oriented. Even though they're kind of a space brained, they're detail oriented. They want to have the same steps, same routine. They're very routine based. So, but if Moore's going to be out more than 3 weeks, yeah, you got to work on moving Guidry to Saturday, which this weekend really kind of put that in a good spot because, yeah, he's going to lose a day of rest he could have had, but Schmidt can kind of fill into that Saturday role pretty well. The other guys I had on the probable list for me is Gavin Guidry and Devin Sheeran. Gavin Guidry because I think Jay loves Gavin. He believes in his breaking ball and he believes in the changeup he's throwing now. And I think Gavin has the guts to be able to stand on that mound, Alec Boxer on the road, use that same passion, harness that passion, and pitch well. That's why I think he left him in there to see if he gets that 75 pitch spot. Now, Devin Sheeran, I added to this list because he has gotten to that 75 pitch spot. I was trying to remember the exact game today. I should have looked it up. I didn't. But he has gotten to that. He had extended innings. I think he pitched for 5 innings. That had to be against, I'm guessing, Vandy or a midweek. I can't remember. Somebody in the chat, please, let me know. But he's had that extended work, and he was able to control it. So that's, I would say, first two out of the gate in contention right now would be Zach Cowan, Gavin Guidry. Jay Newt is the smart choice to a point over Gavin. Devin Sheeran is my dark horse. He is my dark horse. Or does it become Johnny Holstaff? I know nobody wants to see that because we're blessed this year to have a third pitcher, but could it possibly turn into that a sense of, okay, well, can we Johnny Holstaff this thing? I wouldn't be totally against it. Let's see what y'all say in the chat. Alex, midweek games are so crucial, always have been, plus SEC tournament is crucial. Midweek games are crucial. Alex, the reason why I say I really don't care about if you win midweeks right now is because you need SEC wins above anything else. You need to win a few series, of more than a few. Your RPI would tank, which would suck. But they're not going to, if you say you get to 15 SEC wins, they're not going to leave you out of the tournament. And then you go to the SEC tournament and say you run off 2 of them. Then you got 17 SEC wins. They're not going to run you out. They're going to put you in the tournament. You're going to be on the road, but you're going to be in the tournament. Cody Enlow, same here. I like York a lot too, and I feel like his bat will come around also. Yeah. At least somebody believes in me. Robbie, Nuke going to start tomorrow. Did Jay put that out, or yeah, that's what your take is? Bill, yeah, I have a dark horse to watch. He calls Reagan Ricken. I like the thought of that. I do, because you can kind of Case and Evans Reagan Ricken right now. You can get him some SEC experience. If you weren't 2 and 4 in SEC play, I would say okay. And Jay knows like the Cowboy, like Kentucky. I think Missouri lost the series to Tennessee this weekend. Missouri is not a bad team. Kentucky's not a bad team. At the top of the SEC before SEC play started, it was Texas, Kentucky, Missouri, Mississippi State, but I don't care about Starkville. I think Reagan may be too young. He may not. I like the idea, David. I don't know if I trust it. Joker, opener. I'm going to tell you why I don't like an opener. You don't have the offense to protect an opener. You don't have the offense. I'd rather have somebody go out there and know they could go 4 to 5 to 6 innings and get comfortable in the game with the game flow and kind of control the flow of the game more than have an opener that cannot go well. I mean, I'm going to talk about this real quick too, just while it's on my mind, while it flashed in my head. The reason why I want Cerna behind the plate, and it may be the same instance with Cerna as it is Beatty, and I love Kate Aaron Beatty. I know Jay loves Aaron Beatty. I get it. The truth is, if you listen to the stream Saturday, you were watching the game with me. I kept saying, Shear doesn't want to throw his changeup in the dirt. You could see it. He kept swiping up on his chest to say, I want to lift the ball. When 2 strike counts. Why does he want to throw the ball in the dirt? He doesn't trust it. He trusts his changeup. He doesn't trust it won't get blocked up. He doesn't trust it will get blocked up. That's my 2 cents on that. Diamond LSU. Personally, I would pick Count over Newt, but I'm not the head coach. I trust whatever Jay Johnson chooses. I agree. Whatever Jay Johnson chooses, I'm riding with that guy. I'm not going to question him. I would pick Cowan over Newt as well. It's just Newt is in the conversation because he does have starting experience. And he can go that time. And he was a starter in the spring or in the fall and the spring, both. Cooper Williams was as well. I don't think Cooper is in the trust tree on the circle of trust. Bill Yacht, Johnny Holstap is the most likely answer. It is. I hope it's not, but if it is or what it is, Robbie gonna get me mad. DJ Primo, my dark horse. Whoa, Robbie, you gonna get banned from the chat. Ricken would be more of a long-term thing. Yeah, I know. But this is my only question. Do you trust? So, Case Evans is not going to throw 15 strikeouts again this year, guys. I'm sorry to tell you. I wish he would. He's not. But do you trust that the offense will be able to produce Friday, Saturday to where Sunday is not a day you have to win? Joker, I can see it being who was not used in the first 2 games. That's right. Johnny Holstaff it. All right. Let's talk about La Tech real quick because I know we're running long. This is what I saw when I looked up La Tech today. I did some research on them. I tried to figure out who the starter would be tomorrow if they've been a consistent starter. In midweeks, they haven't been. They kind of Johnny Holstaff in midweek, get some guys work. They're going to throw a lot of arms tomorrow. You're going to see at least 5 guys. So I went and I kind of focused on the offense to a bit. We're going over with the pitching real quick. Let's just knock that out. Collectively, they're a 4.99 ERA with a 2.55 batting average against. Give you an idea how that stacks up with LSU. LSU right now is beating them in the ERA department and the batting average department, but it's not by much. 4.7 ERA as a collective team, 2.15 batting average against. If you take out Casey Evans to start, it's not 2.15. If you look at before last week, it's not. They're more closer to 2.50. So offense, in a lot of ways, this La Tech team is a reflection in the mirror of your LSU Tigers. Hate to tell you that. LSU holds an advantage in one area. I looked at 3 stats: batting average, doubles, and homers. Why did I use those? I'm looking at slugging percentage, how hard they're hitting the ball for people, their batting average, how consistent they are, how much they get on base, and doubles because doubles are momentum killers for a pitching staff and momentum drivers for an offense. The only stat that LSU holds an advantage over La Tech is in batting average, and it's by 0.2 of a point. 0.002 points more than La Tech. The Bulldogs' leading hitter is going to be Trey Hawsey. He's batting 320, 5 doubles, 25 RBIs, and 9 pumps on the year. That's their Jake Brown. If you could bet in Louisiana, and if I bet at all, I don't bet. I spend money on pick to click. He's going to hit a bomb tomorrow night. Being the left field landing. So unlike Graham, this isn't going to be a smooth ride for the pitching staff Tuesday. It's going to be, and it wasn't a smooth ride for them Tuesday either because they out hit you, but pitcher staff did a very good job. A lot of Texans have come in here, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed this. I've noticed this is 2022. A lot of Tech has played Jay Johnson teams hard. They've been feisty teams. La Tech is not a pushover. They're going to come in here. It's their World Series. They're a Conference USA team. They're in a lawsuit right now to try to exit the conference. So that's interesting. But tomorrow's their World Series, and they want to beat you in outbox. They smell blood because you're 8-9 your last 17. I hope the boys got their heads on straight and they're ready to go. Let's talk about LSU's Pro Day real quick. Just a quick little tidbit coming to the outliers. We all saw what Mansour Delane did. 435 is a number I've been hearing as of late. Everything I saw from Ian Rappaport and other guys are saying 438. 435, 438, no matter what it is, that dude is flying. And I know AP and them talked about wanting the Saints to draft Mansour at 8. I'm going to let them handle that. I would like to see Jeremiah Love. We do need a lockdown corner with the Saints, but I think we need offense because I don't think Kamara is going to be around for much longer. Harold Perkins ran a 4.38. Now, I saw some outlets like the Ian Rappaport's talking about 4.4s. Harold Perkins, like I had a conversation with Zach Nunes this weekend. We talking about what could have been guys. Harold Perkins is one of the most what could have been guys. Without the injury, without Brian Kelly, without Matt House. Say he had Blake Baker for 3 or 4 years. They didn't try to – I don't think he's going to be a second-level guy in the NFL. I don't see – he's not big enough. I firmly believe, and I'll say this to my dying day, if they'd have let Harold Perkins play like a Tyrann Mathieu role, he'd have been Honey Badger 2.0. But what do I know? Aaron Anderson ran a 4.55. Chris Hilton ran a 4.41, which is surprising to me. I thought he'd been a lot faster, but – and another thing he did, he performed cornerback drills today. I don't know if anybody caught that. He performed drills at DB today. I don't know. Is Chris Hilton big enough to, be a DB in the NFL? He's athletic enough, that's for sure. We could see Chris Hilton as a DB. He goes to work out with Mansour Delane, he'll be quite all right. And another one that kind of jumped off the screen to me was Bernard Gooden. And if you go look at the LSU results page from the Pro Day, Bernard Gooden is listed as a tight end. Is he undersized for the defensive line in the NFL? Maybe. Kyle Williams was as well. Kyle Williams did a lot of good things with Bernard Gooden this year. Could he project as a defensive lineman in the NFL? I don't know. But he took reps at tight end. He's not going to be a burner. He ran a 5.0140. He's not going to be a burner, but he did have 20 reps on the bench. Blocking tight end, never know. Quick little hit on spring practice. It's starting tomorrow, and there's some things I'm looking forward to. So I think one thing I'm grateful for that a lot of people are not grateful for, I am, because I don't have access to anything. There's not going to be a lot of media access to these spring practices. So we're going to take everything we hear with a grain of salt. Don't believe everything you hear. Do I think Lane Kiffin will lie to you? Yes. Do I think that makes Lane a bad person? No. Every coach will lie to you. Jay Johnson will lie to you. Nick Saban will lie to you. Lane Kiffin will lie to you. Mac McMahon shouldn't have a job. Beth Torino's going to lie to you. Just take everything with a grain of salt. I want to hear about how the offensive line is working, how Jordan Seaton and Braylon Moore are working together to bring that offensive line together. The guys they brought in from JUCO, I think one of his last name is Tickle or Tingle. I heard he's someone they really like. I want to hear how the DB room is going. I'm not really worried about the defense per se. I like to hear about how Whit Weeks and what's the kid's name from Ole Miss? Kid's name from Ole Miss. Help me out in the chat. Help me out in the chat. I'm blanking. I'm blanking. I'm blanking. Wes Weeks ran same as Hilton. Wow, I didn't check that. Well, that can't be true. Ain't no white boy that fast. Let's look at this real quick. Y'all let me know who the kid we got from Ole Miss, the linebacker. I know what I'm talking about. Give me a name. Just give me the name. Alex, real quick. Having to play Kentucky, Tennessee, Ole Miss, and A&M SEC stretch. Yeah. Now A&M does look like they have blood in the water as well. Tennessee, do they get their swagger back with Elander? I think they got their first series win this weekend against Missouri, which Missouri is not a bad team. So, thank you, Robbie. TJ Dottery. That's right. I want to hear how TJ Dottery and Whit Weeks are working together in the middle. I want to hear how Todd Benefield does, but I really want to hear about as far as my things I'm looking at, I'm not really worried about the quarterback because Sam Levitt's not going to be participating in anything other than 7-on-7. He's going to be a starting quarterback. You paid him too much. I promise you, he's going to be a starting quarterback. It'll be week 3 before anything is changed with Lane and the starting quarterback or everything goes bad. Who gets the backup role? Hassan Longstreet or Landon Clark? I want to hear about the running back room. How does Harlan Berry look? Does Caden Durham jump over the guy we got from Wisconsin? There's another running back we got. How does he look? How does Caden Durham progress in the offseason? That's kind of what I want to see and what I want to hear. I want to hear about Treyas Green and Mothershed. Do we run any 12 personnel? We're going to have 2 tight ends. What is Treyas Green's role going to be with this team for the next year? That's kind of some things I want to hear about. But remember, they're going to lie to you. Understand that. 2 more quick notes before we go. Dylan Cruz. A little bit of Tiger talk. Unfortunately, we'll start the year in Rochester, the Nationals AAA organization. I did see some news articles talking about possible trade rumors for Dylan Cruz. I wouldn't be mad if he got out of the Nationals organization, but it sucks to see him start his year in the AAA organization. He'll be fine. He'll jump back. I know. I also saw AJ Przinsky, the former Chicago White Sox catcher, kind of talking down about Dylan. I don't get that. Great. Granted, Przinsky was a great catcher for the White Sox. Was a great player for a lot of years. He knows baseball, but he's trying to say Dylan's not doing what he's been told to do to hit pitching in the MLB. I think that's kind of like an Acho situation. Personally, Dylan's going to be fine. He'll be back in the bigs this year. As far as that goes, just pertinent information. And also, one quick thing before I let you guys go today, Paul Mainieri has officially retired, officially again. Now, it didn't go well for Paul in South Carolina. Whenever he took the job at South Carolina, I did not see Paul being successful. The game had passed Paul by while he was at LSU. Does that mean I have a disdain for Paul Mainieri? No. I don't give away Paul Mainieri merch on Pick to Click because nobody wants it. You could probably go ask the guys at some sports shops for a signed Mainieri jersey, and they probably give it to you for $10. Paul Mainieri is a Hall of Fame head coach. Aside from him taking the job of South Carolina, aside from what people think of him in his last few years at LSU, he's still a Hall of Fame head coach, and he still won you a national championship at his time at LSU. I hope, and I really hope, that this fan base decides to swallow their pride and welcome Paul back with open arms. He deserves it. Happy retirement, Paul. Enjoy them grandbabies. Watch the game. Go get a job announced somewhere. Thank you for what you did for LSU, bud. And I can't wait to see you back at the box. We'll get some comments before we head out because I have to go eat dinner, guys. Time for him to come home to his family. Exactly. I don't think Paul's moving back to Baton Rouge. I don't think he liked the U Club that much. But, it's good for Paul. I know he was real sick towards the end. I also think that was partially like a little scapegoatism to get him out of here, but he's a Hall of Fame head coach. He deserves our respect. Think of the guys that would not have been here if it wasn't for Paul. Bregman wouldn't have been here. One of everybody's favorite Tigers. Some people's favorite shortstop. Appreciate Paul for what he did. We can hate Brian Kelly all we want. You can't hate Les Miles. Les Miles brought you Tyron, Pat P, Fournette, all these guys. You can hate Brian Kelly. I will never, ever, ever kick anybody in my chat for hating on Brian Kelly. Joker, are you serious? His family still lives here? Huh. Well, hey, Paul, let's play golf. Paul, we'd be a good twosome. Diamond, do you think LSU will make the playoffs next year? Okay. Quick football talk. Kind of like how I look at Mississippi State. I think it's a lot to ask a first-year head coach to get into a postseason run. And it's going to be a little harder with football because you have a gauntlet of a football schedule next year. In baseball, you can kind of get around it a little more because you do have the midweek games. You do have a lot more, say, cupcake games per se. I think if Lane doesn't make the initial playoff or an SEC championship, will it be a bust? No, but I mean, the number's out there for a reason, guys. You spent over $40 million on this roster, and you're not spending that much money to just not win. I think Lane's going to show a lot of people in this country just how good of a coach he is. I believe they'll make the playoffs. I'm not going to put money on it. It's too early. I want to see what this team looks like on week 1. Period. That's it. And Joker tells us his family never left. All right. Well, like I said earlier, guys, get off the kids. I know Joker's not on them. Just don't get on kids ever, by the way. Side note. But let the guys figure it out. Jay's got them. Trust in Jay. Other than that, I want to thank all of you for coming in and spending your time with me. I want to thank you for your comments in the chat. And I hope you all enjoy the game tomorrow night. And I will see you Thursday at 6. Remember, Gage Jump, autographed baseball card. People still like Gage Jump, right? He's doing a lot of good things in the athletics organization as well. Get your pick to click in tomorrow. I'm going to try to have it out decently early. Say decently early. You'll enjoy the game. Watch it with fresh eyes. Hopefully we see something different in the offense this week. Don't forget, God loves you. And all he wants you to do is love him back. Hope you all have a great night. God loves you. I love you. Go Tigers. Now, let's walk it off.